The coffee had gone cold hours ago, but Dr. Amanda Brooks barely noticed as she stared at the anomalous readings scrolling across her holographic display. 3 months of data from the Atacama Large Radio Array all showed the same impossible pattern. Perfect spheres of absolute silence scattered across the Orion arm, like holes punched in the fabric of space itself. "Run it again," she muttered to herself, fingers dancing across the haptic interface. The quantum processors hummed beneath her feet, processing petabytes of stellar data for the 100th time that night. The result remained unchanged. Wherever these spheres existed, there was nothing. No radio waves, no electromagnetic emissions, not even the background whisper of the cosmic microwave radiation. Her office, perched high in the Chilean Observatory complex, offered a breathtaking view of the Milky Way stretched across the night sky. But tonight, those familiar stars seemed to mock her with their secrets. "Dr. Brooks," the voice of her graduate student, Mike Chen, crackled through the intercom. "You need to see this. The void in the Arcturus sector, it's moving." Amanda's heart skipped a beat. Natural phenomena didn't move with purpose. She rushed to the main observation deck, her boots echoing through the empty corridors. The facility operated with a skeleton crew at this hour, most screens dark except for the massive central display where Mike stood, his face illuminated by cascading data. "Look at this," he said, pulling up a time-lapse visualization. "The void is consuming signals, not just blocking them, actively absorbing them." The holographic display showed a sphere of darkness methodically erasing stellar emissions around it, like a black hole made of silence. But unlike a black hole, this void left the stars themselves untouched. It only devoured their voices. "How many?" Amanda asked, already dreading the answer. Mike swallowed hard. "We've identified 47 similar anomalies in our observable sector alone. And they're all pulsing, in sync." Amanda felt a chill run down her spine that had nothing to do with the facility's aggressive air conditioning. "Show me the pattern." The next visualization made her blood run cold. Each sphere of silence pulsed with a precise rhythm, a complex mathematical sequence that couldn't possibly be natural. The implications were staggering. "This isn't random," she whispered. "These are deliberate blind spots. Someone's hiding." "Hiding from what?" Mike asked. Before she could answer, a new alert flashed across the screen. Another void had appeared, this one closer to Earth than any they'd detected before. Just beyond the Kuiper belt, a sphere of silence was forming. Amanda's fingers flew across the console, directing every available sensor toward the phenomenon. As they watched, the void grew, methodically erasing radio signatures from that sector of space. But this time, they caught something in the act of disappearing. A brief transmission, barely more than a burst of static. "Run it through all decryption protocols," Amanda ordered, her voice tight with anticipation. The computer worked for several tense minutes before displaying a translation. The message was short, encoded in simple binary. "They're coming. Hide while you can." Mike's face had gone pale. "Dr. Brooks, should we notify?" "Everyone," she cut him off, already reaching for her phone. "Call the director, NASA, the UN Security Council. Wake them all up." She paused, looking back at the stars through the observatory's dome. Somewhere out there, entire civilizations were choosing to go dark rather than face whatever was coming. The silence, she realized, it's not empty. It's full of people holding their breath. As if in response, another void winked into existence on their screens, swallowing another sector of space into perfect, artificial silence. But humanity's signals were still broadcasting strong and clear, our radio waves spreading across the galaxy like ripples in a pond. We were the only ones still making noise in a galaxy going quiet. And something out there was listening. Super Bowl Sunday turned apocalyptic at exactly 6:42 p.m. Eastern Time. The Kansas City quarterback had just released what promised to be a game-winning throw when every screen in SoFi Stadium went dark. Seconds later, A deafening roar drowned out the confused crowd of 90,000 spectators as something massive passed overhead, its shadow briefly turning day into night. Dr. Amanda Brooks watched it unfold on her laptop from the Pentagon's underground command center, her coffee forgotten as military satellites tracked the object's descent. It was falling too slowly, decelerating with impossible precision as it aimed for the empty stadium parking lot. "Tell me we have something that can intercept it," General Martinez demanded, his knuckles white against the Situation Room table. "Negative, sir," a young lieutenant responded. "It's generating some kind of field that's deflecting our targeting systems. But it's broadcasting." The message appeared on every screen simultaneously, rendered in simple block text. "Hide or die." "Get me close-up imagery," Amanda ordered, her scientific curiosity overriding protocol. The feeds shifted, showing the landed object in detail. Her eyes widened in surprise. "That's impossible." The probe, if that's what it was, looked almost disappointingly primitive. No sleek alien aesthetics or incomprehensible geometries. Instead, it appeared cobbled together from materials barely more advanced than current Earth technology. Panels of what looked like solar cells covered its surface, held together by obvious welds and bolts. A simple radio antenna extended from its top. "They built this in a hurry," Amanda muttered, earning curious looks from the military staff. "Look at the construction. This isn't the product of an advanced civilization showing off. This is something thrown together by people desperate to warn others." The probe's next broadcast confirmed her theory. Data streamed across their screens. Star charts, timestamps, and signature patterns. Amanda's heart sank as she recognized them. They matched perfectly with the void spheres she'd been tracking. "These are coordinates," she explained, her voice tight, "showing civilizations going dark, one by one. Thousands of them, over centuries." She pointed to the most recent entries. "These match the silent zones we've been detecting. Whatever's out there, it's been systematically hunting down advanced civilizations, and now it's headed our way." The room erupted in urgent discussions about planetary defense and evacuation plans. But Amanda couldn't tear her eyes from the probe's crude construction. Something about it nagged at her scientific instincts. "General," she interrupted the strategic debate. "Permission to approach the probe." Martinez looked at her like she'd lost her mind. "Absolutely not. We don't know." "Sir," Amanda pressed, "whoever sent this warning didn't have to. They took an enormous risk building this probe and launching it toward us. Look at the technology level. They're not much more advanced than we are. They're probably one of the last civilizations to receive the warning themselves, and instead of just hiding, they chose to warn us too." A tense silence followed her words. The probe sat innocently in the parking lot, its simple antenna still broadcasting its message of doom. Finally, Martinez nodded. "You have 10 minutes. First sign of trouble, we light it up." The Southern California evening was unusually cool as Amanda approached the alien device, her hazmat suit feeling unnecessarily bulky. Up close, the probe's construction looked even more rushed, evidence of desperate beings racing against time to save others. She placed her gloved hand against its hull. The metal was warm, vibrating slightly with internal machinery. A panel slid open at her touch, revealing a simple data storage device and another message. "We chose to warn you because your signals show courage. You broadcast boldly while others hide. Now you must choose, fade to silence like the rest, or face what hunts us all. We're sorry we couldn't do more. Good luck." As Amanda read those words, a new alert flashed across her heads-up display. More void spheres were appearing across the galaxy, spreading like a plague of silence among the stars. Humanity's moment of choice had arrived. And Amanda Brooks already knew what her species would choose. Humans had never been good at hiding. The underground lab at DRBA hummed with activity as Dr. Amanda Brooks stared through the quantum microscope at what might be humanity's greatest discovery, and possibly its salvation. On the atomic resolution display, Human neurons fired in patterns that defied everything they thought they knew about fear responses. "Play it again," she ordered, and a recording restarted. The test subject, a veteran Special Forces operator, was exposed to increasing levels of terror-inducing stimuli. But instead of showing the expected shutdown response seen in every other studied species, the human brain did something remarkable. It adapted, reorganized, and emerged stronger. Dr. Brooks, her colleague Dr. James Martinez, called from his station. "The results from the comparative xenobiology analysis just came in. You need to see this." The holographic display filled with data from the alien probe's biological database. Species after species showed the same pattern when faced with fear. Neural shutdown, systemic collapse, and an overwhelming urge to hide. All except humans. "We're wired differently," Amanda breathed, the implications hitting her like a physical force. "Fear doesn't paralyze us. It energizes us. Every other species retreated when faced with this threat. But we get angry," James finished. "We fight back." The next few weeks passed in a blur of breakthrough after breakthrough. Project Lighthouse, as they called it, transformed from theoretical research into humanity's most ambitious defense initiative. While other nations built bunkers and hiding places, Amanda's team worked on something far more aggressive. In a secured facility beneath the Nevada desert, the first prototype took shape. Amanda stood before the gathered military and scientific leadership, her presentation displaying the culmination of their work. "The void hegemony expects species to cower," she explained, gesturing to the massive device behind her. "Their weapons are designed to exploit that response, but we've inverted their entire approach. This isn't a shield to hide behind. It's a weapon that turns their fear-inducing energy back against them." General Martinez, now heading the Earth Defense Initiative, stepped forward. "Will it work?" Amanda activated the prototype. The air shimmed as a field of energy expanded outward, carrying with it the distinctive neural pattern of human fear response. Not retreat, but advance. Not surrender, but defiance. "We're building these into every ship in the fleet," she continued. "The hegemony's weapons work by amplifying fear. But in humans, fear doesn't work like that. The harder they push, the harder we'll push back." Around the world, humanity's preparation took on many forms. Underground cities were constructed, not to hide populations, but to protect them while the fight was taken to the stars. The first fleet of Earth ships rolled out of orbital shipyards, each vessel equipped with neural pattern amplifiers that would turn human psychology into a weapon. But the most remarkable transformation was in how humans faced the coming threat. Where other species had chosen darkness and silence, Earth's cities blazed with light. Radio telescopes broadcast stronger than ever. Humanity had made its choice. We would not go quietly into artificial night. 6 months after the probe's arrival, Amanda stood on the observation deck of humanity's first deep space defense platform. Below, Earth shone like a jewel, its night side glittering with defiant lights. The defense fleet assembled in high orbit, each ship carrying crews specifically chosen for their ability to transform fear into focused aggression. "Final neural pattern tests are complete," James reported from his station. "All ships showing green. The fear response amplifiers are functioning at 100%. Amanda nodded, her hand resting on the reinforced window. Somewhere out there, the void hegemony was approaching, expecting to find another civilization cowering in artificial silence. Instead, they would find humanity waiting, our ships bright against the darkness, our minds uniquely equipped to face what had terrorized a galaxy into hiding. "Send the signal," she ordered. Across the fleet, weapons powered up, their energy signatures blazing like new stars. "Let them know we're here." The message that broadcast from 1,000 human ships was simple but clear. "We are humanity. We do not hide. Come and find us." The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what would happen when an unstoppable force of terror met the immovable object of human defiance. They came like a shadow between stars, a darkness deeper than space itself, The Void hegemony's arrival silenced every alarm, every sensor, and every transmission in its path. Every signal except one. The defiant pulse of human ships, their neural amplifiers broadcasting the unified heartbeats of their crews. Dr. Amanda Brooks stood on the bridge of the ESS Defiant, humanity's flagship, watching as reality seemed to tear itself apart. The enemy emerged from the breach, living darkness given form, ships that seemed to absorb both light and hope. Multiple contacts, the sensor officer reported, her voice steady despite the otherworldly sight. 5 capital ships, energy signatures off the charts. They're charging weapons. Hold position, Admiral Chen ordered, his weathered face illuminated by the tactical display. Let them make the first move. Dr. Brooks. Amanda nodded, monitoring the neural pattern displays. Fear response amplifiers at full power. Every crew member's brain patterns are in sync. We're as ready as we'll ever be. The hegemony struck without warning or demands. A wave of pure terror washed over the fleet. The same weapon that had driven countless civilizations into hiding. On every ship, crews felt the primal urge to flee, to find the darkest corner of space and disappear. But something different happened. Instead of crumbling, human minds transformed the fear into razor-sharp focus. Heart rates elevated, adrenaline spiked, and in that moment of fight or flight, humanity chose to fight. All ships, weapons free. Admiral Chen's order cut through the chaos. Show them what happens when you corner a species that doesn't know how to quit. The battle erupted in a display that would be remembered for centuries. Human ships, smaller but more numerous, moved with impossible coordination. The fear weapon that had paralyzed so many others only made their responses faster, their aim truer. On the Defiance Bridge, Amanda watched in fascination as the neural patterns shifted. Their weapon. It's not just causing fear. It's feeding on it, growing stronger with each species it terrifies. But our response? She looked up with a fierce grin. We're poisoning their food supply. The proof of her theory appeared moments later. As human ships pressed their attack, the hegemony vessels began to falter. Their energy weapons, designed to crescendo with their victims' terror, sputtered against shields powered by human defiance. Target the lead ship, Admiral Chen ordered. All batteries, fire. The Defiant's main cannon spoke, a lance of energy carrying within it the concentrated neural patterns of 300 humans choosing fight over flight. It struck the hegemony vessel's hull, and for the first time in 10,000 years, one of their ships knew pain. They're retreating, the tactical officer announced, disbelief evident in his voice. 2 ships withdrawing through. Wait. His eyes widened. One isn't making it. Its drive is damaged. Amanda leaned forward, her scientific curiosity overriding caution. Can we capture it? Admiral Chen studied the tactical display for a long moment. The damaged hegemony ship drifted, its dark hull occasionally sparking with failed energy attempts. Finally, he nodded. Launch boarding teams. Dr. Brooks, you're with them. Find out what makes these monsters tick. The boarding shuttles approached the alien vessel like antibodies attacking an infection. Through her helmet visor, Amanda saw the ship's true nature. It wasn't solid matter, but something between energy and reality, held together by terror and malice. As the boarding team cut their way inside, they found no crew, no biology as they understood it. Instead, they discovered the truth. The hegemony weren't ships at all, but fragments of a vast consciousness that fed on fear itself. We've done it, Amanda breathed, scanning the ship's core with trembling hands. We've captured their technology, their weapons. She paused, realizing the full implications. We can track them now. We can find them. Above her, through the breach in the alien hull, Earth's ships held position, their lights bright against the void. Humanity had won its first battle against the darkness that had terrorized a galaxy into silence. And somewhere in that darkness, thousands of hidden civilizations felt something they hadn't known in millennia. The fearless fleet lived up to its name as it emerged from hyperspace above Proxima Centauri, 40 ships strong, each vessel's hull gleaming with the reversed engineered technology from the captured Hegemony vessel. Dr. Amanda Brooks stood at her station on the ESS Defiance bridge, watching as 3 massive Hegemony dreadnoughts turned to face them. "They're twice our size," Admiral Chen noted calmly, as if discussing the weather. "And there's that old saying about quality over quantity." Hegemony vessels charging their primary fear inductors, the tactical officer reported. "Energy signatures are off the charts. They're putting everything they have into this attack." Amanda studied her neural interface displays, watching as the crew's combined brain patterns formed a perfect defensive matrix. "Let them try. Every attack makes us stronger." The Hegemony struck first, unleashing a wave of terror that would have driven most species to madness. The energy slammed into the human fleet like a tsunami of pure darkness. But instead of breaking, the human ships began to glow brighter. "All ships, execute Battle Plan Thunder," Admiral Chen commanded. "Show them what happens when you push humans too far." The fearless fleet split into 3 attack groups, each targeting a different dreadnought. The Defiant led the charge against the central vessel, its neural amplifiers broadcasting not just defiance now, but something the Hegemony had never encountered: rage. "They're trying to adjust their weapons," Amanda reported, fingers dancing across her console. "They don't understand why increasing the fear effect is making us fight harder." She allowed herself a grim smile. They've never dealt with a species that gets angry when scared. The battle erupted into organized chaos. Human ships darted between the massive dreadnoughts like wolves harrying bears, each strike precisely calculated to exploit the Hegemony's growing confusion. When they fired their fear weapons at maximum power, the human crews responded with even greater determination. "Port side taking damage," someone shouted as the Defiant shuddered under a direct hit. "Neural pattern synchronization at 120%. The crew's actually getting more focused." Amanda's theory was proving correct. The Hegemony's weapons, designed to feed on fear, were instead being poisoned by humanity's unique response. Each attack meant to terrorize only served to steal human resolve. "All ships, form up on the Defiant," Admiral Chen ordered. "Prepare to execute Maneuver Bright Star." The human fleet moved as one, forming a perfect sphere around the flagship. What happened next would be studied in military academies for centuries to come. Every ship activated its neural amplifiers simultaneously, creating a feedback loop of human determination that turned their combined fear response into a weapon. The result was devastating. The nearest Hegemony dreadnought literally recoiled, its energy form disrupted by the concentrated wave of human defiance. The second tried to retreat but found itself caught in the crossfire of a dozen human vessels, each broadcasting the neural patterns of crews operating at peak efficiency. "The third dreadnought is attempting to open a void portal," Tactical reported. "They're trying to escape." "Not this time," Admiral Chen said quietly. "Dr. Brooks, activate the neural disruptor." Amanda engaged the device they'd developed from studying the captured ship. A pulse of energy carried the combined neural signatures of every human in the fleet, not just their defiance, but their determination to protect Earth and any other species threatened by these cosmic bullies. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The Hegemony vessels, creatures of pure energy and terror, found themselves unable to maintain cohesion in the face of such concentrated human willpower. One by one, they began to break apart. "Take prisoners," Amanda called out as containment teams launched. "We need to learn everything we can about their network, their staging areas. There." She stopped as new signals began appearing on her display. Signals from the supposedly empty space around them. Signals that had been hidden in artificial silence until now. "Admiral," she whispered, "we're being watched. Other civilizations, they're seeing this." The battle above Proxima Centauri wasn't just a victory. It was a message to every species hiding in the darkness. The bullies of the galaxy had finally met their match in humanity, a species that transformed terror into triumph. Fear's long reign was coming to an end. The Arcturian delegation emerged from their hidden dimension like creatures stepping into sunlight for the first time in ages. Their crystalline forms refracted the light from the ESS Defiance landing bay, casting rainbow patterns across the deck. Dr. Amanda Brooks watched as their leader, a being that appeared to be made of living sapphire, approached with both grace and obvious trepidation. "You truly defeated them," the Arcturian spoke, its thoughts translating directly into English through the neural interface Amanda's team had developed. "We watched. We all watched. But even seeing didn't make believing easy." "We did more than defeat them," Amanda replied, gesturing to the holographic display showing the captured hegemony technology. "We learned how they hunt, how they track civilizations, and most importantly, how to shield others from their detection." The Arcturian leader's crystalline form pulsed with what Amanda had learned to recognize as emotion. "Our people have hidden for 12,000 years. We've forgotten what it means to reach for the stars. Then let us remind you," Admiral Chen said, stepping forward. "Your stealth technology, combined with our ability to resist their weapons, together we can wake up the galaxy." The liberation began slowly at first. The Arcturians, masters of dimensional physics, helped modify Earth's ships with their phasing technology. Meanwhile, human neural patterns were used to create protective shields that could extend over entire star systems. The Lyrans were next, emerging from their quantum pocket universe with ships that could bend light itself. They had been artists once, Amanda learned, before fear drove them into darkness. Now their ships joined the growing fleet, their advanced sensors capable of detecting hidden civilizations that even the hegemony hadn't found. "Energy signature detected," the Defiance tactical officer announced during their third liberation mission. "It's the hegemony, a hunting pack of 6 vessels." Instead of retreating, the combined human-alien fleet accelerated toward the threat. The hegemony ships, expecting easy prey, found themselves caught between Lyran light-bending arrays and Arcturian phase shifters, all powered by human neural patterns that turned their own fear weapons against them. "They're adapting," Amanda observed from her science station, watching the hegemony's tactics change. "They're learning that terror doesn't work against united species." The battle was brief but decisive. As the last hegemony ship burst apart under the combined fleet's attack, a new signal caught their attention. Beyond the battlefield, space itself seemed to ripple as another civilization chose that moment to emerge from hiding. The Centaurians were silicon-based life forms who had buried their entire civilization beneath their star's photosphere. Their ships, designed to survive stellar temperatures, added devastating energy weapons to the Liberation Fleet's arsenal. With each victory, more species emerged. The Proxians brought quantum computing that could track hegemony movements across the galaxy. The Vegan Collective contributed biological technology that could heal entire ecosystems damaged by prolonged hiding. But it was humanity's gift that proved most valuable, the ability to face fear and grow stronger from it. Amanda's team worked tirelessly, teaching other species how to modify their own neural patterns to resist the hegemony's influence. "We're not just sharing technology," she explained to a gathering of alien scientists. "We're sharing courage. Each species here has something unique to contribute, but they needed someone to show them it was okay to stop hiding." The Liberation Fleet grew into an armada. Ships of every conceivable design and origin flew together, their crews learning from each other, combining their strengths. The hegemony, for the first time in their long history of terror, found themselves retreating. Standing on the Defiance observation deck, Amanda watched as another civilization's ships joined their fleet. The Andromedans, who had been hiding in temporal stasis for millennia. Their sleek vessels took formation alongside human ships, a sight that would have been impossible just months ago. "Tell me, Doctor," Admiral Chen said, joining her at the window, "did you ever imagine this when you first spotted those silence spheres in space?" Amanda shook her head, smiling as she watched more ships emerge from various dimensional pockets and hiding places. I thought we'd discovered the galaxy's greatest mystery. Instead, we found its greatest need. Someone willing to stand up first. The stars were filling with light again, one liberated civilization at a time. The Stellar Liberation Alliance's first official gathering transformed the orbit of Jupiter into a showcase of galactic diversity. Thousands of ships representing over 30 formerly hidden civilizations assembled in a brilliant display of defiance against the darkness that had kept them apart for so long. Dr. Amanda Brooks stood in the newly constructed Alliance chamber aboard Heaven's Reach Station, Earth's first diplomatic space habitat. The chamber itself was a testament to combined technologies. Arcturian crystals channeled light through Lyran quantum matrices, while Proxian computing cores processed communications between dozens of different species simultaneously. The hegemony has lost control of the Carina arm, a Centaurian representative announced, its silicon-based form glowing with internal heat. Their fear weapons are becoming less effective as more species adopt human neural shielding patterns. But they're gathering for something big, Admiral Chen added, studying the massive strategic display. Our long-range sensors detect them consolidating their forces near the galactic core. Amanda stepped forward, her neural interface connecting with the chamber systems. Above them, a holographic representation of her latest project appeared, a revolutionary drive system that merged human neural architecture with alien technology. This is Project Starbridge, she explained. By combining Arcturian phase shifting, Lyran light bending, and human neural patterns, we've created ships that can outmaneuver anything the hegemony has. But more importantly, they require mixed-species crews to operate at full capacity. The chamber erupted in excited discussion as representatives grasped the implications. The new ships wouldn't just be faster or more powerful, they would be living symbols of unity, requiring different species to work together in perfect harmony. The first vessel is ready for trials, Amanda continued, bringing up an image of a sleek ship unlike anything ever built. The ESS Unity. Her neural core can support up to 12 different species working in synchronized consciousness. The Andromedans, masters of temporal mechanics, contributed their own breakthrough. We've modified your neural interfaces to account for different species' perception of time, their delegate announced. Mixed crews can now operate in perfect temporal synchronization. As if to underscore the historic nature of the moment, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. A massive void portal had opened at the edge of the solar system, the largest ever detected. Multiple hegemony signatures, Tactical announced. They're deploying some kind of new weapon platform. But the Alliance was ready. The ESS Unity, along with 50 other newly completed hybrid ships, moved to intercept. Amanda watched from the command center as human pilots worked seamlessly with Arcturian navigators and Lyran weapons officers. Each species' unique strengths complemented the others, creating something greater than the sum of its parts. The hegemony's new weapon fired, a concentrated burst of pure entropy designed to induce existential terror. But instead of breaking, the Alliance ships began to glow brighter. The combined neural patterns of multiple species transformed the attack into energy, feeding it back into their shields. They still don't understand, Amanda said, watching as the hybrid fleet executed a perfect synchronized attack run. They think fear is their weapon, but it's actually their weakness. Every species here has faced their greatest fears by choosing to emerge from hiding. What power can terror have over those who have already conquered it? The battle that followed would be remembered as the turning point. Alliance ships, moving with impossible grace, systematically dismantled the hegemony's new weapon platform. Each victory strengthened the neural bond between mixed species crews, creating a feedback loop of growing confidence and capability. As the last hegemony ships retreated in disarray, new signals began appearing throughout the system. More civilizations, inspired by the Alliance's victory, were choosing to emerge from their hiding places. We're receiving transmissions from over 100 previously silent sectors. Communications reported. They're all requesting to join the Alliance. Amanda looked around the chamber at the gathered representatives. crystalline beings standing next to silicon life forms, energy creatures communicating with biological entities, all united by the human example of facing fear with determination. "Tell them," she said, her voice carrying the weight of history, "that the stars belong to everyone now, and we will never hide again." The Alliance had become more than a military coalition. It was a promise to the galaxy. The long night of fear was ending, and a new dawn of unity was about to begin. The dimensional gateway towered before them, a tear in reality constructed from the combined technologies of a dozen civilizations. Dr. Amanda Brooks stood on the bridge of the ESS Unity, surrounded by the most diverse crew ever assembled. Humans worked alongside Arcturians, Lyrans coordinated with Centaurians, and Andromedans synchronized their temporal perception with Proxian quantum minds. The hegemony's true form exists in a parallel dimension of pure consciousness, she explained, her neural interface projecting the analysis to all crew stations. That's why they've always appeared as void ships in our space. We're not just fighting their vessels, we're fighting projections of their fear. Then it's time we project something stronger back at them. Admiral Chen responded from his command chair. Behind the Unity, 10,000 Alliance ships held position, each crewed by multiple species working in harmony. Status of the neural bridge. All crews reporting ready, the Lyran communications officer announced, her form shimming with anticipatory light. Neural synchronization at maximum capacity. The plan was either brilliant or insane, possibly both. They would use the combined neural patterns of every Alliance crew member to create a bridge into the hegemony's home dimension. Not to hide, not to flee, but to take the fight directly to the source of the galaxy's fear. Gateway activation in 3, 2, 1. Reality shifted. The Unity's bridge seemed to stretch and compress simultaneously as they crossed the dimensional threshold. When their vision cleared, they faced something that defied conventional description. The hegemony's true form was a vast, dark consciousness spread across an infinite void. Tendrils of pure thought reached across dimensions, each one connected to a fear-projecting void ship in normal space. Here, in their home realm, they were vulnerable. "They notice us," the Arcturian sensor officer reported, their crystalline form vibrating with tension. They're confused. They've never had prey come to them before. Amanda activated the ship's primary neural cannon, a weapon powered not by energy or matter, but by the combined will of its mixed-species crew. "Then let's show them why we came." The battle that followed transcended traditional combat. In this realm of pure consciousness, thoughts became weapons, and determination became armor. The Unity led the charge, its hybrid crew projecting a unified field of defiance that cut through the hegemony's defenses like light-piercing darkness. The hegemony fought back with millennia of accumulated terror, showing each species their deepest fears. But humanity's gift had spread through the Alliance, the ability to transform fear into strength. Each attack only made their resolve stronger. Neural pattern holding steady, Amanda reported as reality buckled around them. Every species' unique mental signature is reinforcing the others. We're not just resisting their fear. We're teaching them what it means to be afraid. Admiral Chen finished, a grim smile on his face. The turning point came when the hegemony, for the first time in their existence, experienced true fear themselves. The emotion cascaded through their collective consciousness, amplified by their own ability to project and feed on terror. They had never developed defenses against their own weapon. The Alliance fleet pressed their advantage, their combined neural energy burning away millennia of accumulated darkness. The hegemony's consciousness began to fragment, their control over their void ships in normal space dissolving. "We're receiving signals from across the galaxy," communications announced excitedly. "The void spheres are disappearing. Hidden civilizations everywhere are emerging into normal space." As the last fragments of the hegemony's consciousness scattered into dimensional wind, Amanda felt a shift in the fabric of reality itself. The perpetual background fear that had permeated the galaxy for so long was lifting, like clouds parting after an eternal storm. The return to normal space was met with a sight none of them would ever forget. Thousands of civilizations were emerging from various forms of hiding, their signals filling the previously silent stars with a symphony of communication and life. "Send a message to all Alliance ships," Admiral Chen ordered, watching as the galaxy came alive around them. Tell them the long night is over. Fear no longer rules the stars." Amanda looked out at the growing tapestry of lights, each one representing a civilization free to reach for the stars again. Humanity's first gift to the galaxy had been courage in the face of fear. Their second gift was even greater, teaching others how to share that courage, creating something stronger than terror could ever be. The silent stars were silent no more, and the rising Earth had helped lift all ships with its tide of defiance. Together, they would build a galaxy where fear had no home and courage knew no bounds.